What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan Aranda here, my best life Paraguay. And today we're joined by my good friend Louis. And Low. No, it's not Low. It's also
Louis.
it's also Louis, but that's not how he spells it. Loo.
Yeah,
So yeah, my man. We linked up here when you were in Asuncion. You stayed in
yeah.
an awesome high rise. But we linked up at the food park, and another time a couple other times actually. Besides that, because you've been over here a couple times now,
Yeah.
and you really like Paraguay, so which is exactly why we have you on here. And you're looking to Paraguay for your future, for property, and to make your home base, correct?
Yep.
Okay, good.
So
Yeah, so I'm
yeah,
gonna just let you go right at it. Right before we do that though, and we get into Louis' story and also or Louis' story, right? Louis?
Louis,
Louis.
whichever one.
Okay. So yeah, if I say like two versions of it, yeah. But
No worries.
but yeah, so anyways, just some real quick updates for the channel. I'm about to release merch, you guys, that I'm creating right now. So that'll be linked at the bottom of the of my channel, right below the description area. I predict within a couple days, or if not a week, but I'll be slowly releasing some items, some shirts, my best late Paraguay logo, that kind of thing. You guys know how I do my thumbnails, and I'm really into that stuff. So be on the lookout for that stuff. And also, well, no, that's the biggest update, right? Also, I guess one other thing. If you are a English and German speaker looking to move abroad, my job is a sales role, and so we are looking for English and German bilingual speakers for that, and that also allows you to live abroad. So, anyways, I just want to get that out of the way. My bad, Lewis. So we're gonna just pop it over right over to Lewis, and share your time here in Paraguay and kind of what. Actually, no. First, what made you eye up Paraguay and make that first decision?
Okay, so my name is Louis, and as my name suggests, it says on there, Louis. But yeah, Paraguay, man, caught my interest about a year ago, and I was talking to a friend of mine, like randomly, it just popped up in the conversation, but I didn't know he was also doing research about Paraguay. And we just clicked on that part. We're like, oh man, we gotta go. We gotta go to Paraguay. Then if you want to go, then I want to go too. So it was based on a lot of research, and then just based on what we found, like just browsing the internet and things like that. And then also looking at some of the history, because I am a history buff kind of thing. I love those type of things. So it had a very interesting history. I knew about Paraguay to be honest, since I was young, just based on like soccer and things like that. And then also watching Anthony Bourdain, that was another thing, because he had like, I think he had some ancestry that came from Paraguay. And then that was what, 2016, 15, somewhere around there, where he made that documentary. But yeah, since that time, I had Paraguay on my mind, popping up here and there, but I chose other places to go. So I wasn't quick on my feet to get to Paraguay until my friend told me, like he wanted to go. And I was like, oh yeah, then let's go. Cause it's been on my mind, on my checklist. So pretty much we planned the trip. And then in May of this year, past May, we went. We spent about 2.5 weeks, I believe, in Asuncion. We stayed around what's it called? Kwasati, I think it's called. And yeah, we had a good time. It blew away our expectation, what we thought it was. Obviously, we came with no um, uh, we came with no expectation, like in terms of what we're supposed to expect of Paraguay. We just kind of came there as is. But yeah, we were really blown away by everything we saw, and also by just how different it was from a lot of countries we've been. And as time went on, we just saw the opportunities that were there. Is like in any place where you travel, you always see like, okay, what's missing and what you can bring and things like that. And yeah, and it felt comfortable, and we're like, you know what, this could be like a home, a home base or second base. And upon that feeling, I just kind of built up on that. And when the second time this past, what was it? Uh, Beginning of October, I believe it was. Yeah, beginning of October we went. Um, and so we stayed for about 10 days, 11 days or so. And yeah, so we plan to come back again on the 28th of November. We're gonna be there for 5 days. So yeah, just looking forward to get a place, perhaps right now for investment, and then eventually start because I also want to bring my mom there. So eventually bring myself there, like I don't know, maybe in 2 years to live 6 months in and 6 months out, kind of thing. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And a big reason that I have you on too. Well, you're a friend, right? But you're also very well traveled. I think you told me what 30 plus countries, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been to multiple continents. You've seen a lot of the world. I'm certainly not as well traveled as you. We can all do our research and stuff, but you have way more on the ground experience than I do around the world. Which
Mhm.
it's special that you look at Paraguay as your home base. Even for your mother too for retirement.
Right.
That yeah. So that's awesome, man. And Lewis is very humble guy. So, but I'll just tell you guys straight up, like he's very successful. He does very well for himself. Um, if you want to, go into a little bit what you do, and also, kind of, I guess a realistic timeline of when you want to make the move and do your residency and kind of explain where you're at with that whole residency process and then, start being able to stay here for longer chunks of time.
So pretty much, right now I am an aircraft electrician, and also an engineering. Um, I've studied for aircraft mechanic as well, so I have like just a plethora regarding anything that's aircraft related. I work for Boeing in Seattle. Now I'm here in Las Vegas, so um, in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I also work on aircrafts. But yeah, regarding the residency, I'm planning to get that. It's in, I'll say probably in the next year or so, I'll begin the process for it. Um, and right now I am in process of like getting a place. So I've been talking to a lot of, to my real estate and seeing a lot of different places. In fact, what fills in the gap, like in a week when I'm there, it's like going around and seeing different neighborhoods, different condos, and different opportunities. This past trip, I took the time and really sat down and talked to a lot of expats that were there just to get a feel of what's going on, how they like it, and things like that, and then share my personal experience and theirs. As Ryan stated, I've been to over 30 something countries, and last time when I was in Asuncion, like the girl was the immigration agent. She was like flipping to my passport trying to find space. Because some of these countries I've been, like, for example, Japan, I've been 7 times. So it's like there's so many stamps in there that you have to find space somewhere to put a stamp. So it's funny, but yeah, been to a lot of countries, and based on my evaluation, and how comfortable and cozy it is, I'm the type of guy who would say I love traveling, but I also like peace and quietness. I don't like too much the big cities, the huge places. So Paraguay really appealed to me in that sense, comparing to most of those countries. So, for example, one thing that appealed to me was just how quiet and calm it was, and how calm the people are too. Because some countries you go, it's just noise everywhere, and just honking everywhere. But I mean, the loudest thing you hear in Paraguay is like those. somebody's muffler from a motorbike or something like that in the middle of the night. But if you got a high rise way up there, you're good with the windows closed. But literally, that's a lot this year. Most Paraguayans I've seen, they're really calm, cool. They're just quiet. Um, they're not loud people. So I really like that. But and also, I found that the culture there is very different, like super different compared to in our mind. For example, you'll think, okay, Paraguay, Spanish speaking country, but it's I'll say it's the first Spanish speaking country that just threw me a bone in terms of like, wow, like it speaks Spanish, yes, but there's a whole nother culture, with the native background of the Guarani and all of that. And it's literally, I would say, a first language for them, and it makes it with the Spanish, or they call it Castellano, right? And so that part was really interesting to me. And then just the fact that they don't relate too much to the whole Latino culture. So for example, if you go anywhere, Peru, Colombia, Ecuador, you see like some relevance, a lot of the relevance is clearly there in terms of like the whole Hispanic culture kind of thing. But Paraguay wasn't that. It was completely different. Like I felt like it's like imagine American kind of speaking Spanish and then with a native background, but with some Italian a little bit mixed in there. It's very weird to explain. And everywhere you go, you don't even hear like so much the Latino music, the reggaeton, as you hear in other countries. So you just hear more of like a lot of American music, rock and roll. They listen. It's a complete different culture. So that really, I was really shocked by that. And my friend asked me, he's like, man, like, did you ever hear any Paraguayan music? Did they have their own music? I was like, bro, I don't even know, because most of these Spanish countries we went to, or Latino countries, you hear their own music. Like in Mexico, clearly you're gonna hear their own music. If you go Colombia, you're gonna get into the reggaeton and all that. DR, same thing, those countries. But Paraguay was like, man, like I had to ask, like, who is the Paraguayan singer and what is the music like? But yeah, so that was very appealing to me. And then the food too. Man, the food is really good in Paraguay. Like just the quality of it, the variety. And then for a small place, for a small country like Paraguay, right? And a city the size of Asuncion, it was really fascinating to see there's a diversity that's there in terms of other nationalities and them being acclimated to foreign things, like foreign foods. One of my favorite I discovered one of my favorite places to eat ever. It's in Food Park Villamoa. Is I think it's called Jasmine. It's a shawarma place, but they call it Lomito. In Paraguay, Lomitos everywhere. It's literally shawarmas. You know what I mean? Like Arabic food is like Arab burritos. But man, it's everywhere. But you wouldn't think like a place like Paraguay will be acclimated to that and have it everywhere. It's like a normal thing for them there. So that was really shocking to me. And then also just the different people that were there, different foods and from Chinese to Japanese. Like you were not begging. Like I'll be honest, I went to Mexico, and if you go, for example, if you're not in the big cities in Mexico, forget it. You're not gonna find like different varieties of things that you're looking for. So you have to be in like, I don't know, Monterrey, Guadalajara, Mexico City, and then you're able to find like, okay, you know what, Turkish food and Lebanese food and whatever. But if you go to smallest cities in Mexico, I mean, you all taco throughout, you know what I mean, or whatever they eat there. But Paraguay wasn't like that. It was like, man, you could find every different food, and that was very shocking. Um, and another thing that appealed to me too was just the variety of people that were there. So there's a lot of expats. When you're walking around, you hear other people speaking English, French, German, Italian. I met so many people there, from different backgrounds, and they were really happy to be there. So
Awesome, man. Yeah. So it's quite different. I'll just make two distinctions about well, one thing you said, Paraguay is very much its own culture. That has to do with our historical isolation as well. right? And also us, mixing Guarani, having it be part of our literally in the language itself, which you were saying yo para is the mix, which you'll hear Spanish and English. It's much more common to hear more yo para when you get even just a little bit outside of the new downtown area, or even the old downtown area. So you'll hear it much more here in San Lorenzo, um, and every other city down, Capiatá, Itagua, Ipacaraí, whatever. So you'll hear more Guarani for sure, and also oh, the other point that you were brought up, you hear more American music now these days, but when I came here 13 years ago, you heard all Paraguayan cumbia, you heard all reggaeton, pretty much what was on the radio. And that has to do within like the last 7 years. People have Netflix subscriptions, people have Spotify subscriptions, more people actually have a bank account to be able to link into Spotify, YouTube Premium, that kind of stuff. So now it's much more you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear country, you're gonna hear rock, you're gonna hear some rap, you're gonna hear a lot of that. And also they do try to appeal to expats. We're kind of where you were mostly sane. But you will certainly hear more local music. And another thing too here about the music scene, women love Colombian vallenato.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I see that.
yeah, you'll hear that a lot. We certainly have our own versions of that, kind of more folklorico and stuff. But it is kind of becoming, oh, you're more so gonna hear it like very Paraguayan cultured events, like our Galopa events, where the women are beautiful, dancing in the dresses and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
and the harp.
oh yes, yes, our national instrument is the harp. It's absolutely beautiful once you
Yeah, it is nice.
yeah. The amazing players down here that actually, travel the world, uh, yeah, and do shows and whatnot. So yeah, so Paraguay is very much its own culture, and yeah, yeah, you being to so many places, you can actually see that, it's its own thing. Yeah, and then you yourself, you grew up in the Ivory Coast, which means French was your first language.
Yeah.
How long were you there? Till what age?
So I left the Ivory Coast when I was 11,
Okay.
and what do you call it? Moved to the East Coast, New York, New Jersey area. Grew up there for a little bit, and then left. We moved around quite a bit because of my stepfather's job. He was a merchant mariner, so we moved to Minnesota for a little bit, Minneapolis, actually for 4 or 5 years, and then we moved to Seattle. We lived in Miami. We lived in North Carolina. So yeah, we moved quite a bit when I was younger. So I got acclimated. I've been to 46 states as well, including all the territories. So it's kind of again, I have a very different perspective of the U.S. than other people as well. So
That's amazing, man. 46, yeah. And you are a couple years older than me, or what, 37? Or something like that? 30, I'm 30.
38.
Oh, 38. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
38.
man, that's
Still
like
good. Yeah.
that's such a prime age, right? To come here to Latin America to start, really seeing where you want to be in the world, like meet a girl. And again, we'll get into that. We'll shift into that and the complexities in that. But also, the good parts as well.
Oh,
Uh,
of course.
yeah, but yeah, if you want to make any other before we shift into before into dating stuff and the women here and how you were received, is there anything else you want to bring up, just like comparative wise, other countries around the world, or stuff that really stuck out to you in Paraguay that was like really attracted you here? It was just so different, just kind of really culture shock kind of things.
Yeah. So for me, one of the things that shocked me was again how chill everything is and how chill the people are. So um, my life is very fast, and I don't know for most people that live abroad, I mean that live in the U.S. or Europe or Australia, wherever they are, tend to live like that too. Maybe a little less the Europeans because they actually have vacation and things like that. But here we have to earn everything. And so it I learned how to relax more and just like, okay, you know what? I could just sit down and not do much, in Paraguay. And it doesn't mean you're less productive, you're just letting your body recuperate and just let your mind recuperate. It taught me how to enjoy just time doing nothing, you know what I mean? And also, and to accept that it's okay, like you don't have to be doing stuff every single day, every single time, and so I think I like that part. It really appeals to me. Another thing that was really appealing too was just how close like Paraguay geographically is to certain spots. So yeah, isolated it is in some sense, but you're only an hour and a half from like Buenos Aires. You're about what, like an hour or less from Curitiba and from the Brazilian beaches like Florianopolis and things like that. They do have seasonal flights to those places. Sao Paulo is like hour 40 minutes. So you get flights to these places like 2 hours to Chile. So it's like centrally located kind of thing where you can get places. So you're not completely isolated as people will say. And then the other thing also that shocked me was just was um how many foreigners were there in general. Like, because I was thinking like, okay, people are starting to learn about it, but yeah, there are some people who just came based on hype, but I also find out there are people that were there for quite a while, like just set up camp there for a long time, but they were just keeping to themselves. They were not on the internet, just living life, having families and things like that. So that was another great thing. And then obviously there are some bads that's like kind of a shocker, and then so not having street red lights in many places. The traffic is kind of chaotic, and I think the urban planning could be a little bit better. Maybe if they help some of those developers, because going around and asking and talking to some of those developers and talking to those real estate people, they mentioned that they were not like getting help. Like they had to put their own sidewalk and things like that. Like the city's not even trying to help them with that. So that's another shocker for me. And then I think also in some parts, like as you walk around, you'll see like the drainage system is not it's not adequate, and so when it rains, it pours and it floods. So that's another issue. And then I mean, but those things are like it's solvable. Like it's nothing that's like a deal breaker. Every place in the world, they started somewhere. So it's not a deal breaker. And then the bad, okay, if you're a person too that loves fun all the time and you're thinking this is Medellin, it's not. Just you're gonna learn to relax, whether you like it or not. So that's another thing. But the nice thing is you could create your own fun. You could bring something to the country that perhaps that's missing. Like I said, as you walk around, drive around, go to different places, you would just automatically pick up on what's missing. Like, oh, there's no this, that, there's no that, like, and then you could just bring it. And it's things that don't cost much, or ideas that perhaps can be implemented with just a little planning, business plan. Maybe you find a partner or something like that, and then you could give it a go. So I think that's another part that was really appealing. And then also talking to people, you hear some shocking things, and then obviously I don't want to paint a blurry picture, for people like, oh, you know what, this is a perfect place. It's not. You talk to people, they tell you about the education system, it's poor, and you can understand that, and then also when you leave the city, it gets really decimated in some areas, and hospitals. One thing I always do before traveling to the country, I always watch the news, and I watch like news from all, like literally I would subscribe to every news network for whatever political they stand for or whatever it is, because I want to get both perspective, and I want to hear what they have to say and see what's going on the ground. So the one thing that was shocking in Paraguay was just I would say the lack of petty crimes. I think that was one that I really like. Watching the news, you see it. I sit here in the U.S., and I watch these things, on my phone, and from all the Paraguayan news networks. Yeah, you'll see like, okay, somebody in Ciudad del Este try to rob a store or something like that. But I mean, that's normal stuff that they do everywhere in the world. And then, you'll see maybe somebody got hit by a car or something like that. They have some crazy drivers there, I'll tell you that. But yeah, it's things like that that you see. Maybe a lady died in the hospital from just lack of money, stuff like that. Sometimes they do like they try to do donations and stuff like that, like put up somebody's number who's suffering, and then like if people can donate, to that person, because I seen like grandmas and stuff like that who were just crying because they got the help, or things like that that you see. But I try to watch the news and trying to get a perspective, but there was just a lack of. So, for example, I'm learning Portuguese right now, right? So I subscribe to I'm talking about every single Brazilian news network from Sao Paulo, and I'm talking about by cities. That's how like detailed I am in those things, because I want to hear the different accents. I want to hear the different things that's going on in that country. What are the similarities of the bad things or the good that's happening, So in Brazil, you'll notice there's a lot of killing of women, right? You'll notice that. And then you'll notice all the petty crime and somebody, got shot in their car. They were trying to rob them, but it's not to talk down on Brazil, but it's just what you see in the news there, It's common throughout. But in Paraguay, you don't see too much of that. You see some news that's bad. Yeah, okay, cool. Maybe a girl got hit by a car or something like that, right? A little girl. But you don't see so much of the petty crime, or if there is, maybe it's unreported. But you don't see too much of the petty crime where you feel like you're unsafe. So the safety part, when I actually got there, was actually true. I could walk around. I don't feel, given I am 6'4", but it's like I never feel threatened. Like I never feel like, okay, somebody's just gonna walk up on me, pull up on me. I think for the most part, from what I see, Paraguayan people are shy. But it could be a different story. Maybe if you go to Capiatá or something like that, some of those deeper neighborhoods, where I hear from Paraguayans themselves, like, oh, it's kind of dangerous. But it will never reach. I don't think Paraguay reaches. I think if anything, there's probably more organized crime because it's so safe there. Maybe lack of some things that maybe the authority are lacking in terms of protecting the country and managing the country, and that's everywhere, right? So there are going to be some criminal organization, perhaps in like the neighboring countries, that are going to try to take advantage, and that's normal. That's normal, We've seen that even in Canada, But the thing is, it never feels safe, unsafe. Like you get mugged. I seen girls riding their bike at like 11 p.m. In some of the parts where I went. So that's another shocker to me, And I'm like, okay, you know what? That's actually nice. And past a certain time, the streets are quiet, like most of them are in the house, after work, nobody's really out there like that. Like you really got to fight in the week to find like a bar where something is happening, because people value their at home time. So that was another thing that was appealing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, that last point, the valuing at home time, works well with dating too. There's a lot of homebody girls, right? Again, it takes time to actually meet those kind of girls. Like you might not meet them on Tinder or whatever. But getting back to the safety part, it is interesting. Every single time I hear that, whether it's an older white woman or an older white man, a younger guy, a guy of your height, everybody feels safe, and that's a real testament to the country. And also, what you were saying is sometimes you will see like a robbery go down, like in the news or something here in Paraguay. And then locals will really like the thing is us as Americans, we're so desensitized to everything in the States, but
Yeah.
like people like if something happens, like say 5 blocks away from here, people are gonna hold down to that for years. Like, oh shit, man, that's not good. That's not good, you know? And then they're gonna tell you that and kind of make you a little more scared, but it's like that shit happened like a couple of years ago, or like, but in the States, like somebody could get shot tomorrow down one block away. It's like, oh, well, that's just the States, you know? So
Yeah, yeah,
it's Paraguayans, they'll kind of scare you a little bit more than what the actual reality is. And I've noticed that too, coming here over and over. Again, it's not to say it's 100% safe. I'm not making that claim either. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but compared to neighboring countries, it is. And I was actually, it's funny you brought up Brazil. We're literally right before this, I had on 60 Minutes Australia that was saying that Sao Paulo is the kidnapping capital of the world, right? So
I
like,
watched that documentary yesterday. Yeah,
yeah, and I was just like,
that's
oh
crazy.
my God, just imagine if Asuncion had that reputation. Like for me, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't really want to. I mean, I would visit Sao Paulo, but I would never ever go live. Like I feel comfortable going live here in Paraguay, like at a food park or something like that. But like over there, dude, it's just like a whole nother level. And well, not only that, but I'm sure you've seen what went on in Rio recently, with the whole
Yeah,
police going into the Rio slums. And
favelas.
yeah, and some of these I don't, it doesn't even matter. It's not even important what the names of these basically cartels are. But I mean, these guys have, I mean, these organizations have drones. Like it's just crazy. Like there's a lot of death and despair and extreme poverty and favelas that as far as the eye can see, whether it's like outside of Sao Paulo or Rio, that like Paraguayan favela, like they're so tiny in comparison,
Yeah,
and they're actually really close to like the downtown area, which means that they actually get a decent amount of help. Um, here in Paraguay. So yes, some of those folks will come out at night, and again, it's not all of them, but it's just like some shady characters might in the old historic area of Asuncion. So you might not want to be wandering around at night in the old historic part, but most of you guys are in the new area anyways. Um,
yeah.
yeah, so I mean,
And
but yeah,
go
my
ahead.
yeah, I mean that comparison is important though. Whether you're comparing it to, I mean, even Buenos Aires has rows of like, I mean, street on street
Oh
on
yeah,
very very impoverished, and
oh yeah. I
more,
seen the ghetto in Buenos Aires.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
I remember Buenos Aires years ago, but I mean, I've even seen videos where it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of like LA. You're just like uh,
yeah,
tent cities. It totally reminded me of LA.
yeah.
Um,
And you got Cacolandia in Sao Paulo. You know where all the crackheads are. It's like blocks and blocks and blocks of that. I've never seen that in Asuncion. You know.
no, and yeah, I mean, and people would have seen it by now. Like there would have been a one YouTuber, and the famous place where people will go is oh, I'm forgetting the name. Uh,
The Rocinha in Rio de Janeiro.
no, here in Asuncion, there's one small
Oh yeah,
God,
it's by the river up there, right?
yeah,
I
by the
seen
river.
the videos.
Oh,
Yeah,
La
I forgot
Chacarita,
the name.
the Chacarita.
La Chacarita, exactly. La Chacarita, yeah.
So you'll go down there, but it's so small. I mean, it's literally like the size of like I mean, barely what we would even call a neighborhood, and maybe a couple neighborhoods combined in the U.S. at most. Otherwise, there's a big collective of people living in multi-generation households here, people being close to their family and community, which I think really does wonders to keep crime down as well. And the more that people explore, the more you'll get a feel for everywhere in the city. But if you also want to touch on, well, two things I want to ask you before we dive into dating. But what is your take? Well, number one, as a black man, right, traveling the world, how did you feel here? Well received. I know that Paraguayans stare, and even at me, and I look just like them. And I am Paraguayan by blood, but I have a different
Yeah.
style and all that stuff. So like I'll get stared at too for sure. So like Paraguayans, stare, are very curious, right? But did you ever feel any animosity, any of that, or were you pretty much well received? How did you feel on that aspect? Because I always get asked, and I can't obviously answer that from my own personal experience. Very much a brown man, but if you want to give the perspective from a black man traveling here, and then seeing your future here.
So before I answer that, I need to go back to the what do you call it, to the previous subject, right?
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
about the safety and the so I think part of the safety too in Paraguay has to do with the fact that people are fed,
Uh,
right? Because it's one of the only countries where I ever went where in a poor neighborhood, and I've been to some of the poor neighborhoods, right? They're still eating steak. Like that to me is still incredible to me. Like they're still eating carne, it's part of the culture, you know what I mean? I don't think I've been in other places where like there's meat and and people are struggling a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to pick a heavy carb diet or something like that to fill in the gap. But they're still eating whatever they want to eat and they're eating it proper. And also the second thing I think that contributes to the safety is yes, the wages are very low, right? Probably one of the worst in both Americas, right? It's really bad in terms of that. But the pressure is not as high to fight to make it. Like, for example, if you go maybe to some of the more expensive cities in Colombia, like Medellin and stuff like that, if people, where people are actually suffering, then you got expat that add in themselves to the mix, right? To rent out all the places and rent is going up. They're choosing to rent to the expat first. 6, 7, $800 a month for box in, something like that. Or in DR, for example, where like, I mean, it was expensive back then, maybe when you go outside of, I've been to small cities in DR and small towns, it gets cheaper there. But in the cities where the bulk of the population is, where it's expensive, it's hard to make it. And if you don't have the income and you don't have a job, it's like you're literally almost forced to rob and steal and find all type of dubious way to make it. In Paraguay, you living in your parents' place, you know what I mean, or family house. And then, you're going to get your carne asada at least twice a week. You know what I mean? That's unheard of in many places. You know what I mean? So I think that contributes to the safety overall of the country. So it doesn't push people. I mean, I'm not sure how long this can go for because, obviously we're going to touch into this other subject, which I think that unfortunate that's happening there. But for now, I think that part is really relevant because, if you look at like agriculturally, they have big boys around them, right? Chile, that's exporting stuff. You got Argentina also doing export. You got Brazil export. It's like agriculture HQ, you know what I mean, of South America. That like they got big boys around them who are already taking care of the export part. You know what I mean? Yeah, Paraguay exports stuff like soybean and many other things, right? But a lot of food they produce, they keep it. So it's abundant, and then I could say it's affordable, right? Compared to some of these other places where everything has to be imported, and it makes it tough, or the land is not arable to grow stuff. So Paraguay is blessed in that category where at at best, even if you don't have nothing to eat, you could go to a cousin house. Somebody got carne asada for you. Somebody has a steak somewhere. You know what I mean? And the beer at least, so you could pass, the tough time with that. So. But to jump into what you asked me, as a black guy in Paraguay, how did I feel? Man, I felt good. To be honest, I felt like I was a movie star kind of thing.
Yeah.
I am a movie star because the thing is, uh, people are just shocked. And don't get me wrong, I've seen other blacks there, right? But I always tell this to people. I said, when you travel and you go to some of these places, you have to represent the country that where you're going. You know what I mean? Because people have seen the United States is a master of projecting the best of themselves, right? Now we have the internet to check to check them and say, okay, you know what, like, hey, you know what, you guys got hoods. We seen Keisha and them fighting in the grocery store, right? On the internet, right? But prior to the internet, United States was just pumping out all the best of themselves from Hollywood to sport. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows Michael Jordan. Everybody knows Michael Johnson in the 92 Olympics. Everybody knows, all the big names and the big shots, movie star, singers, you name it. That's what the U.S. was pumping out. So there is a high expectation when you're a U.S. citizen, when you go somewhere, right? But the thing is, the U.S. citizen, right, when we travel abroad, for the most part, even the richest person, they will be in flip-flops and shorts, right? So it's like people are scratching their head when they see you like for the first time. Like, this is an American. This is what we saw on TV. This is what we saw in the movie. Like, this was just wearing flip flops. You don't even think is an American, right? Because Americans, to some extent, when they travel, they want to be humble, right? Which is cool. Like they want to humble themselves down a little bit, or just blend in, kind of thing, and relax. And I'm not knocking them for that, but you have to understand that it's not you; it's your country that put that pressure on you, right? Meaning, okay, you know what? You're an American, so you don't have to show that you're an American all the time, but there is a presentation that you have to have about yourself, right? It's just a clean look, the clothes and everything. You have to have that. I think that's a must, right? You can't do that everywhere. Obviously, you can't be in Brazil and having a chain like this or rings. You can't be doing that. But in countries like Paraguay, where you feel safe and all of that, and you test the ground, you test the water, you be like, okay, you know what? I could actually, be myself here, right? Okay, cool. You get into your style, and when you rock that, people see that and they're like, wow, like that's an American. That's what we saw on TV. You understand what I'm saying? This is the rapper that we saw, whatever. So the first thing they do is just they want to take pictures. I've taken many pictures with people. I can't tell you how many in the club. In fact, last time I went to Kingfish, they thought I was actually the DJ or like the guest feature singer or whatever. Everybody started taking pictures with me. Girls started gathering around me, taking pictures. It was like a domino effect. And and me, I'm not a shy guy when I do like my privacy, but I'm not a shy guy when I'm outside. I'm not gonna push people away. I'm not that type of guy. So from even little kids, there's a little kid, he came to sell me gum. I give him a nice bill. I give him one of my hats. I have my hat on. He say, man, I love your hat, bro. I give it to him, put him on his hat, and talk to him for like 5 minutes, talking to a kid,
Yeah.
So people see that and then they react to that like, wow, like he's actually nice and he's actually humble and he's approachable. So I had many people approaching me, people laughing with me, asking me where I'm from. They was very curious. They knew obviously United States, but they're very curious. Some of them thought I was Brazilian. I'm like, I'm not Brazilian, And then I had Brazilian people also come up to me, other black Brazilian that I met, they were like, oh man, like they were so happy to see me and things like that. And felt like we're brothers or something. So I didn't feel out of place. The one thing I will say is that Paraguayans in general are shy. So people might misinterpret that as like, okay, they're not friendly or they're racist or something like that. I don't think it's that. Is they're very shy people, to be honest. They talk more in private. That they do. But outside it's like they give you like the little Japanese effect, like, oh, I always use that, like they're very shy, they don't want to approach you, and like you can see like their face blushing, like I just order empanadas like at the supermarket, right? I love doing that, to fill in the gap at home. So I ordered the empanadas, at the supermarket. Man, the girl like just turned red, blushing, and then like the fact that he speaks Spanish is like, is he even real? Like, is he real? Where is he from? So it's that kind of thing. It feels like you almost feel dreamy, like you don't exist really. Like this is a dream I'm experiencing, But the Paraguayans are shy, and they don't want to like bother you, kind of thing. That's a vibe I always get. But the thing is, some of them, yeah, if one start doing it, everybody else will start, And they look at me everywhere I go in the mall. And me and my boy, he's another 6'3" guy, and we dress like to the tack, like. And when we walk in the mall shopping Seoul in these places, man, all the people, they just like, they can't even chew their food, bro. They just stare at us like, oh my God. We seen people taking pictures of us. We made friends, right? We made friends. I took our numbers and stuff like that. Okay, maybe acquaintances, I'll call them, not friends. And then they'll send you a random picture of you that somebody else took of you that's sent to them. It's like crazy things like that. You're like, what the hell? Like, at what time did you see me walk into that pharmacia? You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, they do that, because we're like a novelty, you know what I mean? And that part is good because we're so foreign, Like a white American can just walk in and blend in, right? And nobody will know, We met many white Americans, they just walk in, they just blend in, nobody knows, and nobody cares, kind of thing, But us is like there's a curiosity, there's a mystery, and then just how proper we dress and how proper we look and how respectful we are, and then we speak the Spanish at the same time. Man, that's like it triggers all kind of curiosity in their mind, you know. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to get to the girl part, we could.
Yeah, yeah. No, man, thanks for that breakdown. I get it to an extent. I used to kind of feel like that too when I would travel here. I'm like, damn, like you almost kind of feel, well, like you said, like a movie star, and I don't even stick out like that, but my style does.
You can't hide. In Paraguay, I can't hide, man. That's the only place I
Yeah.
can say. Only my Airbnb I can hide myself. But even, bro, like sometimes waiting for Uber in the lobby, whoever is coming from the lobby, bro, they just look at me with their eyes wide open and just taking pictures. And like, if you don't look for a second, like if you look away, you'll see they're taking a picture or grabbing a video of you or something like that.
Yeah.
Always happen. Even I can only hide inside of my Airbnb. That's it.
Well,
Once I'm out there. Like that's it.
yeah, well, I mean, I can attest to like you and your guy who you travel here with, you have very impeccable style. So like, and you tower over like the majority of us. Like average height here is like
Yeah.
5'9", like pretty much my height, for 5'10", whatever, somewhere there. But yeah, I mean, you tower at least a good 5 inches over people here. So like, you certainly stick out. You have a great style, and yeah, you certainly give off that like movie star effect, and that I'm sure they're like, damn, is he a singer, artist? Is he like something famous? So I totally,
Yeah.
and yeah, like I mean, even when we were at the food park, it's like I already knew I was gonna get questioned.
Oh, you seen that at the food park last time, right? Everybody was staring.
Everybody,
Literally.
everybody.
Oh my God. We walked in the food park and they started taking pictures. I had to stop and take pictures. Literally, like that's how it is. Everywhere I go, it's like that. Just taking pictures of people and people taking pictures of us. Another thing too is
Right? It's like
what do
endearing.
you call it? Man, if fame, if I was supposed to be a movie star, I don't think I would like it because I'm very private. So it's like, yeah, it's nice to be acknowledged by people, but I don't like to be seen. If I dress nice, it's for me. It's not like because I want to show off. No, it's the outfit has to be proper. The hat has to match. Things like that.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm thinking that, but I'm not thinking like I'm doing that to flex on people or anything like that. And that's the reason why you find me in a food park in San Lorenzo eating what do you call it, French fries. You know what I mean? Because that's my favorite thing, eating French fries. And the same at the same time, yeah, you find me in Capiatá hanging around. I could do that. Or you find me at Zulu rooftop. You know what I mean? I'm very adaptable in that sense.
No, man,
So,
I do. I can attest to that, and I do love that about you and your guy. You're willing to go to wherever, the San Lorenzo Capiatá.
yeah.
I feel bad that we didn't link up that last weekend.
Oh no worries, man. There will always be time for that. Yeah,
we'll certainly get together again, man. I mean,
for sure. Yeah, the 28th I'll be there. So
yeah, for sure, man. So yeah, thanks for that. Before, and I know we're holding this off. We're holding the best to the end, right? Obviously, I want your thoughts about the girls. But before that, how do you feel about the whole gatekeeping thing? Right? I mean, I'm obviously a YouTuber, so like I literally go against the whole concept of gatekeeping. But where do you fall with that? I'd like to ask guys that because everybody has a certain ideology or opinion about gatekeeping. Do you feel it's the correct move to keep inviting folks here? Do you think the right people are coming here? Or what do you think about that?
So I have two perspectives about that. I think Paraguay was gatekeeping itself, but the internet forced it out. I think that's what happened. Like at some point, it was bound to happen. There are many countries like that where it's like, for example, if you go to Asia, like a country like Laos was closed. Everybody was just bypassing and going to Thailand and Vietnam and these places, and everybody overlooked Laos. Right now, all the little expats, they want to go to Laos. They want to go to the jungle there. You understand what I'm saying? Like they want to go hiking in the mountain. It's like the new it place. Why? Because the internet forced it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the internet will push you out of your shell. That's what is bound to happen, especially after COVID. Because people started getting different perspective, having given a different meaning to life. Like, oh, well, I don't think I want to be in this job forever. I want to explore the world and things like that. Because they're set on their phone, literally watching all of these other places, all of these countries, you know, and like, you know what, that's on my bucket list. I want to go to Spain. I want to go here. So in fact, if you look at the boom of some of these countries like Paraguay and, you know, the Laos of the world, and even countries that were already famous, like even Spain or Portugal, right? It's after COVID. You know what I mean? Because it's people wanted other places to go to and explore, and, you know, places that were unseen where they could just go and start fresh and things like that. And Paraguay was pushed out of a shell, man. I'll tell you that. Now, in regards to gatekeeping, no, I think what it is too, I think people are still overlooking Paraguay, to be quite honest. I think if you look at it, right, they come with too much expectation, right? So, for example, I met many expats that came from Colombia, right? And then, like I told you, Colombia started getting expensive because
Mm.
after the pandemic, many people started going there. Me, I was going to Colombia before the pandemic. I was going there like, I don't know, 2012, 13, 14, when it was like, it was not on the radar. You know what I mean? Like Medellin was just fresh, was 10 years out of being the world most dangerous country, right? I
Mm.
was going there 10 years after. People started discovering Medellin and all of that, right? After certain YouTubers started posting so much about it to the point where like, we all have to go there, right? So even until today, I still receive like random messages from friends from many years ago, right? That when I was going to Medellin and I was telling them, hey, we should plan, we should go, or I was going to Bogota or Monteria and some of these other cities where I was going. Because at that time I was living in Seattle, right? I tell them, hey, we should go here, right? We should go to Colombia next summer or whatever. Bro, they'll look at me like I'm speaking a foreign language, right? These same people are texting me now to tell me we should go to Medellin. I'm like, bro, I already done that 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? That's done, you know? So it's just to tell you, like,
Before the hype. Yeah.
before the hype.
Yeah.
So now you got the rush and the influx of people in places like that, right? Where now it's overburdened and overtaken by, you know, by foreigners, and things gonna get expensive. You know, the local people are gonna take advantage of the you know, boost the real estate, make as much money from it, you know, and a lot of bad things happen. So I think a lot of them even got priced out of Colombia because, like, okay, you know what? How many times am I gonna you know, gonna buy a girl for $300 because a lot of them do that, or $200 and be sustainable? Or let's say, how many times am I gonna pay this rent? You know, $800 in a safe neighborhood. You know, because it gets that expensive in places like Medellin. You know, Bogota maybe a little less, but some of these countries, and it's not just Colombia, where it got overburdened by tourists after the pandemic, it's gotten really bad. So to the point where people are looking for a new pasture, right? So they started putting their eyes on places like Paraguay. You got other people going to, like I said, Laos. You got other people starting to go to parts of Vietnam, things like that, just to leave some of those hype places and find a new place, you know. So I think Paraguay is starting to get his light, you know what I mean, his shine. And but the thing is, those people, they come with expectation, right? So you meet some of the expats, you know, I'm not gonna give any names, but you meet some of those expats and like they had Colombian experience, and they think that, okay, you know what, I'll just pop up in Paraguay, it's gonna be the same. I'm gonna get girls and this and that, the same lifestyle, you know, but it's not like that. So some of them get disappointed, and you talk to them and like they actually plan to leave, you know, because it's like it wasn't the expectation. And then the other ones who kind of like, okay, you know what, I actually need a cool, calm place to find myself, and it's cheap, and I can actually have a good quality of life. They're starting to put their tentacles, you know, and getting their feet wet on the ground, trying to open business, trying to network and things like that. And I'll say those ones are not gatekeeping, but the ones who actually have bad things to say, right? I think they're the ones who I think they're the ones who are gonna keep the people away, and that's I wouldn't call it a form of gatekeeping, but it's like a consequential gatekeeping, right? Because okay, you know what? If I'm gonna go on the internet and make a video and talk bad about Paraguay, right? Because I had a bad experience, they can only stay there 2 weeks in the middle of summer, right? Because some people are really ignorant, you know, they'll choose like show up in Paraguay in the middle of January or something like that, and it's hot as hell, and then like everybody's sitting indoors. Oh, Paraguay's the worst country. Okay, did you come in May? Did you come in September? Or last time when I was there in October, the weather was super pleasant. You know what I mean? And people were out and about. There was Oktoberfest. There was all kind of thing happening. You know, so I think those people will have a consequential effect in terms of doing indirect gatekeeping. And then you got those people who are also there and maybe perhaps they don't want people to find out about Paraguay for some reason. But it's very few, I think, not as much. But and then there are those who that I met too who want Paraguay to be known, you know, like they'll tell their friends, their family. I met people here. In fact, I met an old man last time, just talking, having a random conversation, you know. And he's like, man, I moved to Vegas and I'm tired. Like after the pandemic, things got super expensive here. You know, I think I want to move somewhere else. And I told him like, oh, you planning to move to another state? He's like, nah, bro. And he's like 73. He told me. He said, no, I'm planning to move abroad. I'm like, and I was ready to tell him, man, you should consider Paraguay. But he was talking. I was listening. He's like, man, I had a buddy of mine. He's in Paraguay. I was like, oh man. And I smiled. I said, bro, you go to the right place for your age and your income. And you plan to sell your house, meaning you're gonna take that equity money and take it to Paraguay. Man, you're gonna have the best retirement ever.
Yeah.
Right. And then I started telling him my experience and the good and what I saw and things like that and things to expect, you know, when he goes. And then he has a friend that's already there that's like flipping buildings, something like that. It's in real estate. So he should be okay when he gets there, you know. So you hear things like that. So I can't stop the publicity of Paraguay. And I don't think those who are gatekeeping can stop it either.
Yeah.
But obviously, yeah, you're going to have some people who are going to give you the bad perspective of Paraguay. That's for sure. And you're not going to be able to stop that. And in a way, they're the ones I think that are gatekeeping more than the ones who are actually there. Because you're going to need people to come there if you want that growth and development, you know. But we'll also talk about the bad impact of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just two points there. The geography of Paraguay kind of saves itself from the weekend warriors. Those who just want to go to a place 48 hours.
There's no beach. There's no beaches.
Yeah, there's no beaches, but I mean, women are not that fast, you know, like, you know, so like, you know, the whole Medellin crowd, and we all know what we're talking about when we say that. You know, not the guys who are like living there for years. That's what those are, you know, those are permanent relocators. But yeah, so you know, you're not going to get the weekend warriors, people who really like the very, very fast life, 10 million things to do. They get bored here easily. You know, women are always going to like more that, which we're going to transition into now. You know, if you're here for a longer amount of time, all that stuff. And yeah, the other point, oh my God, what was it? About the whole gatekeeping thing. I'll remember it later. But okay, yeah, I'll remember later. But overall, oh yeah, I was just gonna agree with you that yeah, you can't really gatekeep it. I mean, you know, there's just guys like me, there's YouTubers, and I think overall the correct people are gonna come here. You know, seeking more of a chill lifestyle is more of a, you know, relaxed tranquilo culture, as you were mentioning way before. Yeah, so completely agree. Okay, and now we're going to transition to the last part of this conversation is women. And you know, so first of all, you know, I just want to get your thoughts on the purely aesthetic, just the raw beauty of Paraguayan women, and then we can talk more deep into other aspects. So if you want to just give your 2 cents on that.
So from what I saw from Paraguayan women, they're not skinny like model skinny, although you'll find a lot of them that are, but they're like somewhere between off chubby, right? And when I say off chubby, it's not like, okay, she got fat, she got a gut or something like that. No, it's like between a normal woman and an off chubby, meaning she got meat on the bone, because they eat really well in Paraguay, man. You know what I mean? You'll see that everywhere, you know? People sit down, they'll eat, and they'll sit down for hours. Like, one thing I noticed in Paraguay, when I go into a restaurant, whoever I find there, I always leave before them, and they stay there like hours, you know?
Yeah.
Like 3 hours sitting in the restaurant. I can't do that. Me, as soon as I'm full, I want to get out of there. And, you know, that's like 30 minutes max, you know? So there are people that savor the food and take their time and enjoy the wine and things like that. So you'll see that a lot. So they're not and yeah, I don't find many of them to have like a gym culture like other countries, you know, like okay, like for example in Colombia there's like I know there is too in Paraguay, you know, where there's like small gyms in the neighborhoods and stuff like that. But in Colombia, you know, the girl she'll get the BBL or whatever it is and get get the stomach done or whatever, all the cosmetic surgery, and then she'll be in the gym literally the rest of her life trying to keep that up. And in Paraguay, I don't see as some too much pressure on them on that part. It's like love me as I am, right? But I'm not gonna get too fat. They're a little self conscious in that part, but the thing is, it's like uh, that glass shaped body that you're looking for. There are some. It's not everywhere, but the natural beauty, I think they have. Like you're not gonna find many girls who just putting on just lathering the makeup all over their face. It's like they'll just compliment what they got. So you'll see a girl like, okay, you know what? You don't see too many of those cartoon eyelashes like that. You know what I mean? Like the ones like that be calling you with it. No, you don't see that. You don't see a lot of what do you call it? Tattoos on chicks. You don't see that. You don't see a lot of like coloring of hair and things like that. Like I said, it's natural beauty, like a earthy beauty about them. So whether you're a man who appreciate that or not is up. Beauty is subjective, so it's up to you. But me personally, I love natural women. And especially a woman that knows how to accentuate what she has. You know what I mean? Meaning, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna ruin completely what I have, like completely shave off my eyelash to paint it. You know what I mean? They don't do that. So that's the part I like about the Paraguayan girls. And then also the Paraguayan girls, they got it's like a comfortable, simplistic style, right? So you go out with one, they're not like I think Brazilian girls are more peacocking in terms of that, meaning show like they know they're hot and then like they have to show it, right? Meaning the dress gotta look like this, the hair gotta look like that. Like there's a there's a certain perfection about the beauty that they're trying to achieve, right? And if it's comfortable or not, who knows, But Paraguayans is like they have to be comfortable in how they look, So I see that a lot. You see some girls like, they just natural long hair. They didn't go to the salon, It just maybe she just combed it herself or something like that. You don't see too many I did my hair with an early curling iron and you could smell like the burnt hair, when you get close to them. You don't see that. It's just I comb my hair, I brush my hair, and I went out, But it's still pleasant. They have a little necklace on their neck, you know what I mean? Things like that. Nothing too showy, nothing too in your face, nothing that attracts so much attention. If they even some of the hottest girls, like you see them like, okay, they'll wear some high heels, but it's not too high, just some nice tight pants and what do you call it? One of those strap shirts that these girls wear. It's nothing like too. And then they don't. One thing I noticed too, like you notice in Colombia, for example, even in Argentina, right? They kind of follow each other in the fashion, right? So Argentina, especially Colombia, is very much the same, but Argentina, you notice first thing you notice, feminist type of jeans, which is the flared open bottom jean, right? That's dragging to the ground with the sneakers, right? And then some type of coat sweater with it or whatever. It's like copy and paste, right? So you asking yourself, like, what's your personal style, right? You'll notice that like they don't have an individual style. It's like they're all wearing the same kind of thing. You go to Colombia, same thing. Those high heel sneakers, right? Those poofy sneakers. They're all gonna wear that. They're gonna wear that with the flare jeans or with the ripped jeans a little bit. They have to have the shirt that shows the belly button, right? The tank top shirt that shows the belly button. It's like copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste.
Yeah.
And why is that? I mean, my experience in Colombia, a lot of the girls that sell close to each other, right? So as that's as much ambition as some of them got. I mean, I don't mean to be down on them, but they don't see too far. So their business mind is like, okay, you know what? I will sell. There's these Chinese guys all over Medellin and Colombia and all over Colombia actually, and they're wholesalers. And then they use those girls to promote these clothes and sell it. So These girls would sell these clothes and be like influencers and sell the same thing to all the girls, which is stupid. And you see all the girls got the same legging that, that's splitting the cheeks in half, right? With the big poofy sneaker. You don't see like an individual style. Like you look at this girl, like, wow, like she has her own style. It's copy and paste. Paraguay, they have their own style, but it differentiates from people. So you go to like Kilkenny on the rock and roll night, and then like you see a girl like if you just close your mind for a second and be like, okay, you know what? I'm actually in the United States. You can actually believe you're in the United States because the girls will have like maybe a little rock and roll style to them, just a little simple, not emo like, but like just simple and casual kind of thing. And then if you go to Zulu, then you find Zulu rooftop, then you find the girls who want to be a little bit more flashy, but it's very subtle. They'll do their hair, you could tell they went to the salon and got their hair done, but it's not too much. A little earring here, a little watch, little purse. You find different styles because it's still original. Because they appreciate their own beauty. In terms of height, uh, I haven't met many short girls like how it was in Colombia or some of these other countries. I think Brazil probably has the tallest girls for sure, and then Argentina. But Paraguay, the girls are actually a good height, like five. Most of them I met, they were around like 5'4", 5'3", 5'4", so 5'5" at the most, And then I met some of them who were like 5'10", So they range from there, but it's hard to find like many of them that's like 4'9", 5'1". Nah, most of them are above 5'3" for sure, and then just meaty, um, meat on the bone, man. They eat. And then another thing too about the looks of the Paraguayan girls is they don't use much to do, So whatever little they got, that's what they'll use and make themselves nice. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, good breakdown, man. That was a pretty spot on. Yeah, I can attest to that. I mean, they're very cute, very pretty, natural beauty, very pretty natural faces too.
Yeah,
And a lot of sundresses, a lot of femininity just radiates from these girls. I love
yeah,
it. Femininity, like
yeah,
just it just feels right. You feel like you go back in time. You just for the most part pretty soft spoken, pretty and this is what we're leading the conversation into now, the more in-depth stuff, right? Like women down here
yeah.
at least a good one, right? Will really let you lead as a man. Will let uh and she'll be your girl, and again, it only gets better the more time you are down here. So I predict once you have months on the ground here, you'll have even better experiences than you've already had with girls wanting to take pictures, uh, dates you've
Oh
been,
yeah, for sure,
all that stuff. It'll only get better,
for
and
sure.
yeah. So if you want to touch on, we'll just whatever open ended. So whatever else you want to just say about the whole women in general dating scene, and again, like I know you haven't had like a relationship for like months and months and months, like or anything like that, because you haven't been here for that long. But where do you predict it? Where do you see it? And what do you see it as now?
So in terms of dating, me, I'm very open to. I'm not closed minded to who I date, right? Um, I guess what I prefer is a girl who's somewhat ambitious, right? And when I say ambitious, it's not like, oh, I want to be CEO of a company. It's like, okay, you know what? I wake up in the morning with a goal in mind that I actually want to accomplish something in life. Besides sitting on my porch and drinking tea and being on social media, right? And then, um, and then a girl who actually maybe a little bit educated, because I think also that is a very definitive factor in Paraguay from what I learned. You're gonna meet, because one thing is South America is really good at this, right? You can meet one of the hottest girl that you ever seen in your life, right? And it's not to talk down on people, but it's like you meeting a girl, right? Like a hot girl from literally the worst neighborhood in Kansas City or in St. Louis, right? But the thing is, we don't put two and two together and be like, okay, you know what, this is actually a hood chick, right? And because a hood chick can still have that beautiful look and and put the makeup and all of that, and just on the fact that you don't know the culture and you don't know the people that that well, and then you don't know the language, so because a lot of people don't know the language, right? Or they know somewhat Spanish but they don't know much, right? They just know the basic. So they don't put two and two together and be like, okay, you know what, I'm actually with a hood chick, right? And so that's actually a definitive factor in a lot of South American countries, and Paraguay is no exception. So I remember I was dating a Colombian girl. This was 2019, right? And we were serious, and I said, let me go visit your people, right? We went to her hometown, mind you. We took the plane from Medellin. We landed in Monteria, because she's from the coast. We landed in Monteria. Monteria is a city like, let's say, Encarnacion or something like that, right? Small city. We get there, then we got to take a taxi, right? And drive 1 hour to another small pueblito, right? And when we get to that pueblito, we got to take another, like a private car and go 3 hours deep into the wilderness over there, into La Selva. That's exactly where her people's village, it's like a village, literally. You see, like, it's campo, like one house here, there's like the wooden fence, then there's like a couple of cows, and then like another 3 miles down the road, there's another one. It was like that, right? It's not to talk bad, because I know that kind of life,
Yeah.
I'm African, I understand, right? But the thing is, it's like she explains the way she explains to you, and then when you get there, it's like, this is actually where she's from, right? And then you start taking into account, like, she never went to university, never went to, like things like that. So all she has to offer you literally is beauty. So when you start dating her and you go further and further into the relationship, then you realize that there is not much she could bring to you, right? In terms of, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do a business. I want you to come to the US or whatever it is, right? I'm not saying that situation that's how I went down, but if you were to do that and say, you know what, I want to open a business, I want to do this, I want you to run this part, I want you to just run the numbers or whatever, and I run this part, she won't be able to do that, right? And that's where it's like, you probably wasted 2 years trying to make some work that it's not gonna work, because she can only see to a certain level. You understand what I'm saying? And because she only went this far in life, right? So what is the thing she wants to accomplish? The beauty, right? Get the nails, and then the social media, show off herself to the people that never made it out that pueblito, right? That's usually how it goes. And that's a true story from a lot of people. But many men are not able to differentiate because, first of all, they speak Spanish, their Spanish is basic, and then they don't try to get to know the country internally for what it is, right? And seeing what the social system is. Because I think South America, aside from India, has a very bad casting system in terms of like socially where you rank, right? Meaning, okay, you know what, these are the rich, these are the, and I mean, middle class is somewhat there, but it's almost non-existent. Then you got the poor and poor bottom, right? So, but the thing is, most girls are able to put on a mask and kind of like flip between those two worlds, right? Where the dudes, they cannot. You can tell literally this dude's from Capiata and he has riding around on a motorbike. He's gonna make his entregas, right? His deliveries, and maybe he has dream goals and aspiration, but he's not even thinking like, oh, you know what? I want to be in a penthouse in in a penthouse in Umbukuya or somewhere over there. I mean, he's more humble about it. But the girls, nah, they want to get up there because they see on social media. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna mingle with them without knowing who they are, right? In terms of like, okay, you know what? She's actually from that background, and I think that's the tricky part where a lot of guys can get disappointed because is you meet a girl like that, and then you give her the time or whatever the day, and then she don't see herself going far with you because she sees you as above her grade kind of thing, right? So if you're above her grade, then what does she do? Then she would. I'm not saying that they are users, but some girls would try to like, okay, you know what? I can only get this out of this situation, right? But whatever you're trying to explain to them about the future and this and that and how where you plan to go is like speaking Chinese to a Japanese. You know what I mean? Or Chinese to a what do you call it, to somebody who speaks a complete different language. So I think that's the tricky part where a lot of people got to open their eyes. Second thing, there are so many beautiful women in Paraguay, and then but in the clubs is not where you're gonna meet them. I think they have many social events. I think it worked probably best if somebody invites you somewhere, maybe a friend, family, invite you to a birthday party, then something like that, where okay, you're able to actually see that person in a natural environment, right? In a natural state. Because the club, everybody just, they could be whoever they want, right? You don't even know that girl showed up at what's that club? We went to C'est La Vie, right? Hot as hell. You don't even know that she sat on top of 5 other girls in that car, to come with the homegirls. You know what I mean? And they live like way behind Capiata over there, in Alto somewhere over there. So you get a situation like that and you don't know until you text them and then you tell them, oh, can we see each other? Like, can we go to dinner? And then she tells you she can't because she has to go to work and this and that. And there's a flaking. And then she's worried about the cost of the Uber or the Bolt, right? And when she give you the location, you're like, good Lord, she's actually an hour and a half away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to get that. Yeah. Clubs is a no-no. That's a lesson learned for me in Asuncion. Second thing, you're gonna meet girls who, if you do this out of the club, you're gonna meet girls who like what happened to me and my boy. They just stare at you like, oh my god, like, are you even real, right? And then when you get to know them, you get the number, then they flake. So you're gonna get a lot of flaking, and the flaking is due to the fact that they got boyfriends, but they're not gonna tell you.
A lot of them do,
and a lot of them do.
Or
they got boyfriends.
Complicated.
They're not gonna tell you.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of them do.
Yeah, or situationships. Yeah, or situationships. And then what do you call it? So they will lie to you in your face and tell you, oh yeah, like they'll smile, and be like, yeah, let me get your number. Getting a number in Paraguay means nothing at all. So don't think like, oh my god, like I scored, I got her number, we're gonna go eat. No, it means nothing. Second thing, the girls in Paraguay, it does not take much to impress them. So in fact, you shouldn't even try to impress them, right?
Yeah.
It's very basic. It's an earthy type of attraction that they have for somebody. It's not based on material, based on money, because a lot of them didn't have it. So they don't even know what Rolex on your hand look like. You know what I mean? And they don't care to give a value to it, right? But as long as you smell good and you're properly dressed, that's all, right? And then, don't try to take that girl that you met in the club to Zulu. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't work like that there. At best, a food park or a small restaurant. Because remember, a lot of girls you're gonna meet in the club, they don't come from those areas where your Airbnb is at. So you got to take that into account. So best place, find a place where they sell some good Milanesa, right? In a mom and pop restaurant, you eat there real good. Then you can invite her. Okay, you know what? We can go. I have some beer in my Airbnb, and we have the view, of on the balcony. We could sit down. You put on the portable speaker, put on some vallenato, colombiano, and they listen to that. They sip the beer with you. They're having a good time. That's usually how it goes. But flexing and trying to have the what do you call it? The big dates and all of that. And remember, you will never know that you're dealing with a girl who's living an hour and a half away in Capiata somewhere or on the back of Capiata. So just take it easy, right? Second thing I'll notice in Asuncion, I attracted a lot of girls who, what do you call it? There's like a big sugar baby underground that's going on over there. So you will attract them. Yeah. Complicated, that's one. But then there are girls who keep their options open, like straight up. Like I'm telling you, straight up. And I sent you a text one time showing you. They'll tell you, you take a number and then you go, all you have to do, just go on the WhatsApp status. I please do yourself a service. Whenever you get a girl number and she actually added you, right? Because that's another thing. When you get the number, don't just get the number. Get the number and make sure you send a message right there in front of her, and she sends you a message right there in front of you. I mean, she added you at that moment, you added her back. That's confirmation that she's actually highly interested and you highly interested in her. That's how it works. If you did half of the work, expect to be flaked on. I promise you that. Second thing is, what do you call it? When you what was that saying? Yeah, when you get the number, when you get the number, make sure you look at the WhatsApp status, because they will snitch on themselves. It never failed. They will show themselves with, they will show their feminist belief, or they will show you their what do you call it, whatever hardship they're going through in there, or they will show you that they actually have a boyfriend kissing up on him, and you see like date night, right, eating sushi somewhere, right. It never fail, I promise you. So that's the second job that you have. And then when you text her based on what you saw, and she's texting you back 6 hours later, delete her number. I promise you, you save yourself a headache.
Yeah.
Second thing that you see is third thing you will see is, okay, even if she texts you back 7 hours and she's still interested in you, it means she's planning to keep her option open, and she's gonna cuck you and that guy, right? Meaning, okay, there's some about you that she wants, right? And then she wants that guy too. So they keep the options open. I've seen that with many girls. Yeah. And it's up to you if you want to be a player and be like, you know what, I won't even call that a player, because you're being played at that point. You know what I mean? Being a cuck is not fun. So it's like, okay, you know what? Do I really want to just get what I need out of the situation, meaning her body, and then just leave, right? It's up to you. You have to make that decision. But do not take that part serious in terms of that type of person serious. Oh, it's not my boyfriend, it's this. They will openly lie to you in your face. It's not all of them now like that. Then you meet some other girls who never came across a foreigner, but are super cautious, right? Like, they don't even know how to approach you. So you get the number, and then they're kind of shy. They don't know what to say to you. But the one thing is for sure, in Paraguay, you need to initiate everything. So yeah, you're not gonna be finding girls where, okay, you know what, like, I need to, if I say what's up to her, and then like, okay, cool, like, she's also gonna contribute to the conversation. No. With them, you have to be the one to initiate and to keep that flame alive. And when you do, and you catch enough curiosity, and then they're able to open themselves more. That's another thing. And you find those girls who have high curiosity in you. Some of them will walk to you in the club and just bump you like that with the elbow. It happened to me, it happened to my boy. In fact, he's talking to one right now that she was staring at him like this, and then he was staring back at her, right? And when he looked away, she was standing right next to him, and then she bumped him with the elbow like this. Like, she couldn't stop, you know? So you got her number, they're talking, beautiful girl, you know? So they are very shy like that. They're not like in your face, you know what I mean? But they would do like some little gestures like that to let you know they want you. And those ones who actually do are actually the one you should go for. Yeah. Right? If you're gonna walk up to some of them and be like, oh, she's hot, I'm gonna walk up to her and say what's up and try to get her number, don't have any high expectation. Paraguayan girls, they talk more with like body. They talk more with body, and they talk more with
they'll let it know. Echar un ojo. They'll throw at you. Yeah.
Yeah. They it's little things like little body gestures, little body language moves, eye contact, and things like that. That's when you know. But if you're gonna just like, oh, she's hot, I'm gonna walk up to her. No, it doesn't work like that there. Because they're not very confronting people in terms of like, you know what, I'm gonna walk up to her and just say, what's up? Hey, let me get your number. Brazil, yeah, you need to do that. Yeah. Brazil, you got to show them I want you, and then like, yeah, she show you back she wants you. It's like, it's very quick. Paraguay is not like that. Now, when you get the girl in Paraguay, let's say it works, right? And you're getting the number and all of that, and you got the number, and you guys are texting and communicating, you know, you need to know that there's a pattern to the country. Meaning, these people, there's no labor laws in Paraguay like that that's protecting them. So employers are abusing the hell out of them, right? Yeah. So if the employers say, you know what, there's no phone here, she does not want to lose that job because there's no jobs like that. So she's not going to text you like that, right? And then you think in your head like, man, like, this girl's not interested, but it's not true. It just means that she can't touch her phone. She work in the kitchen or something like that, you know?
Yeah, or even
So you need to accept that.
yeah.
Exactly.
No,
Don't make it about you.
yeah. Respect if she's on the job, if she's serving,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
something like that.
Don't make it about you. Ask about her pattern in life. That's the first thing, and especially on a Sunday. Sunday's your golden day because they're all at home. So Sunday you can get more words out of them, and then you just ask her, hey, you know what, like, um, what time you usually work, what time you usually get off, things like that. So you know how to respect her time, and you know how to text her, and then you definitely get text back, and you don't feel like, okay, I'm being ghosted out or something like that. That's another thing you have to do.
Yeah.
Third thing you have to do is ask her about the family situation. What's going on in there? If she has a stable situation, like if there's mom, all kind of people around,
I'd agree.
you need to take account into that.
Those should be some of the
That's very important.
first date
Yes.
questions. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yep.
respectfully, like, hey,
Respectfully.
Where do you live at? How many brothers do you
Yeah,
have?
it's
How's your relationship?
part of getting to
That kind of thing.
know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you know that, then you know how to move next, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now you know, okay, she has 3 brothers, she has 3 sisters and all that. So, okay, she's going to be busy a lot of the time, right? It don't mean she's not interested in you. It just means at home is busy, right? She has things she's doing in there. She's washing clothes, and then they wash clothes too. And the way they wash clothes, the machine washes, and then they have to dry everything themselves.
Oh, me too.
All of these little things, bro, it's like that. All of these little things, they don't have dryers. So all of these little things you got to take into account. And then that eats into the time that you have with her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Sunday, she might not want to chill like that with you unless it's like Sunday evening and then she's already done everything she needs to do and she's ready for work tomorrow and okay, cool, everything is done. So, okay, order a pizza, invite her over, 6, 7 p.m. That's the most productive day in Paraguay with a girl, I think, in my opinion. Because you can take her out on the weekend, but okay, cool. But she might be hanging out with the homegirls because the other homegirls too, they're working 6 days a week. There's no labor law in Paraguay. Remember that. They're working and they all got jobs, to be honest. Paraguay, most of the girls got jobs. That's the one country I will say, although it doesn't pay much, but they're always going to stick to that job, whether it pays them enough or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the girls work a lot. So you got to take that into account.
Yeah.
Another part too you have to take into account is that the girls there, the dating a foreign man concept is still a new thing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not something that they're completely open to, right? But obviously you're gonna have some more who are rebels, who had bad experiences, and we're gonna get into that part, who had bad experiences with their own people and stuff like that. So they're looking for something different. It don't necessarily mean different mean I'm gonna go jump into an American guy's arm or into a European guy's arm. It just means somebody who's gonna treat me different. Because yes, you are foreign, they will see you as that, but you have to take into account that the foreign dating thing is a new concept. And then you mix that with the religious conservative background with a dictatorship that was there previously. I mean, their parent grew up under that. So they strictly impose those beliefs on the girls, right? Yeah. So there's an expectation that they have to have towards their family, right? Meaning, okay, you know what? They can't sleep over at your house, on the first whatever, right? They can't do that. If they're going out to eat with you, expect not to hit it the first day, right? Expect that. Maybe the second or third, It doesn't mean, in the U.S., it means you're being used and abused, right? There is not. It's a normal process. It's a normal procedure because remember, they have their mom and dad who grew up like that and they impose that strictly on them. Right? Yeah. So you have to respect that part. Yeah. And then you also have to take into account that, and I always tell this to people, but they don't believe me. Girls in South America, I don't know, maybe Brazil's a little different, but I don't find Latinas to be the most romantic and booby, lovey-dovey, kissy. They like to receive the romance is like a song that they listen to. Yeah. But it's not an everyday thing that they live. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, here in the United States, they watch lovey-dovey movies and all kind of things. It's almost like a delusion with with romance, right? And then they impose that on you as a guy, right? So meaning, okay, you know what? I saw, I don't know, whatever movie, and then I impose that on you, or whatever TV series, and then I impose that on you. And that's how the girls here become delusional, because Hollywood had an effect on that. In South America, many of the places where I went, it matters to a point, but it's not everything.
Yeah.
What matters, I think, in my opinion, like, and I was talking to to one of my guy in Toronto, right, in Canada, about this, and he dates an Ecuadorian girl. He said, "Bro, like, that's the same thing I feel. It's not about like being overly loving and how do you call it, puppy love and woo wah." Because one thing about Latinos that I noticed, they all had their heart broken young. I'm talking about between 16 and 18. I guarantee you, it was like, it's a transition. It's a pay your dues for them.
Yeah.
Some guy that they fell in love first, that took their virginity, shattered their heart with a homegirl or something like that.
Yeah. That's pretty
It's always the story. Very common.
Yeah.
So they will forever live with that. And it takes time to expose them to get back to that level. It's like, it's almost like a scorn heart that you have to fix, right?
Yeah.
I think here in the US, the girls, they can heal their heart with other dumb things. Like, I'm traveling to Portugal, la 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 la. I'm going to Australia, you know, with my friends. We're all going hiking, you know, like we're going to Starbucks, something. Yeah. But I think the Latinas is harder to master that, and especially if there's like a kid that was involved in this situation, or if there was abuse, or because you could talk to a girl in not just Paraguay, but you could talk to a Paraguayan girl, and then she's 22, 23, or even 25, but her experience in dating and life is 45 years old or 50. I promise you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like she could be the most gorgeous girl you've seen, but you don't know how much trauma she went through, man, until you sit down and then you break it, and you have to learn the language in order to get to that level.
Yeah.
It's impossible to get there without it. Otherwise, it's going to be surface stuff, you know, and she can't take you serious. But once you penetrate their brain and you see, like, okay, you know what? There was some, what do you call it? Some childhood abuse. There was some mistreatment by mom. Mom was never there, or the dad left them and went to another girl. Like, things like that, like, scarred them.
Yeah.
And you have to fight that, and you don't know that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And that's how, go ahead.
Yeah, so a couple of things to break down. I mean, you had so many good points, and yeah, you're pretty much on the money, man. I don't even think like, but I guess one in general, that I always say is that your average Latina doesn't have the privilege to be as delusional as your average Western woman, which makes them more logical, which you brought up, which is like why you're gonna see most likely gonna be working some kind of job, and they're gonna appreciate that job, and they're not gonna take that for granted. But that doesn't, and so I'll bring in two aspects here. So just because she's working a job, or just because she's at the university, doesn't mean that she is gonna adopt the whole very leftist, very feminist ideologies, because again, this goes back to what I was saying. She still is living at home, even if she's at the university. There's no college experience. You're going out, like, do a fucking city hours away and don't see your family for a couple of years type thing. That doesn't exist here. So they don't have that same I guess privilege, right? That a lot of Western women have, right, to go live a completely separate life, then come back if they ever come back. But that makes them more logical in their day to day, and that translates into more appreciation for when they do meet a man, and they do meet a man of worth in their eyes. Again, there are the club girls that it gets way more complicated. Like you said, they might live too far away, or they might be getting a lot of guys' numbers, and it may not work. But like, but what you also said too is, and you recognize this because like you hit me up. And you honor this, and I know that you do this in other countries too, but you get in good with locals, you get in good with guys like me who have family here, ties here and stuff, as well. So you can like kind of branch off my network. You know, if there's any kind of like events going on or whatever, you know, you can get invited and stuff to things later on. And then that's the best way, really truly, like to like have a good solid friendship with a guy, and then you know you branch off, like you know maybe he might have a cousin, something like that. You know, you meet or whatever. It may not always work out like that, but you know, a lot of times those are the best ways. That's always how I've you know done it. And then also too, you said like from the guy's perspective, seeing how the girl interacts like with her family. If you get to that point, if she's like gonna invite you around, it works the same way. She's seeing how you interact with her family. So obviously, like you were saying, the better you are at Spanish, the better you are just being comfortable in that setting, greeting properly, all that good stuff. Sitting around, maybe chatting up her dad or uncle or whatever for a good amount. They're gonna want to know a lot about America and a lot about your life and all that stuff and your interests. So you know that's the way to go to you know eventually find you know the one or also church is wonderful too. You know
Yeah,
is a wonderful way because they're gonna see you
it's a wonderful way.
week after month and like okay then who's this guy, you know we got to say something to him. You know
Yeah, yeah,
even if it's an older auntie, you know what she's thinking in her mind? Oh, I have a you know a niece who's 20 years old, 22 years old. You know, and she and her boyfriend just did her wrong 9 months ago, and she's still in a rut. Okay, now she wants to go date again, you know. And I guarantee you that older woman, she's gonna be looking at you and be like, look, yeah, my life is too complicated, but she's gonna be looking at you and be like, hey, I got a family member for you to meet, something like that, you know. I can't tell you how many times like family is just like like you know help me out or other connections beyond just family, right, just meeting the friend of a friend, whatever, go to this random event, that kind of thing. But yeah, man, you're pretty much spot on. And you know, we can go down the whole rabbit hole of comparing US to Latin, but that's been talked about so many times. We kind of get it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and a lot of it comes back down to the delusional factor, the appreciation factor, how much you know, a woman really values like creating a household at one day, which is, you know, uh, still pretty prime.
Yeah.
Prime concern for a woman down here, a young woman to find a good man, create a good household, and continue on that way, right?
No,
Uh,
it has it has
yeah,
a big effect. It has
yeah.
a big effect.
So I think,
And and uh
yeah, if you want to say
and
anything,
one last thing I'd like to add about that too.
yeah, yeah. Well, we'll close up the dating thing here,
uh
and then we'll get into your last
yeah,
experience
we'll
with
close it.
guys, and then we'll close out the conversation. So if you want to wrap up the dating part,
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. So also in the dating part too, you're gonna notice a couple of things. You're gonna notice the like there are some various type of girls. There's the college girls, right? The one that's university. Or before I even get into that, most of the Paraguayan girls that I met, they don't need anything from you. Like in terms of, it's not gonna ever come up like, oh, you know what, like, oh, I'm suffering and if you know I need $50 or whatever. It will never come up. They have a huge pride in fighting to get their own. I love that about them, and I respect that a lot. Many of those other countries in Latin America, you go at some point it'll show up like, you know what, like you just expect like, you know what, some bum auntie is getting sick somewhere, and then you know she's gonna make up a lie and say, you know what, just to come up. Paraguay, they take pride in like, you know, the women take pride in I can do it myself. You know what I mean? Like even you talk to her and you text her, oh, how you doing? And she tells you she's not doing well. You know, Dominican Republic, Colombia, some of those other countries, or you know, she'll tell you, you know, that's a segue to bring me money, right? Paraguayan girl, she just explained to you in a raw sense, you know, like, okay, you know what, like I'm not doing well today. What do you call it? She's not gonna even tell you like, oh, I couldn't pay my water bill. No, she'll tell you, oh, I'm not doing well. Maybe tells you something else. But if you wanted to get more psychologically into her mind and then find out exactly what's going on in the household and the situation, that's when you find out like, oh, like there was no water got cut off or something like that today. You know, then but that's even eventually you find out that, oh, at that time when you were talking to her, the water was cut off in the house, but she didn't want to tell you. They're not good at they, I mean not good. They don't like to expose their problems to you, and they take pride in trying to solve it themselves. Is what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
So
So the
that
The only thing
Western Union poppy, it doesn't come on much.
yeah, the only thing I'll add though is to just to make the distinction, they want to get it by
Yeah,
themselves to create that financial stability, but that does not mean that they have the sentiment of I don't need a man, because you'll never ever hear that out of their mouths ever. I've not heard that once in
yeah,
16 plus months here. You know, like they'll
yeah,
because a right man, they want a right man to love, to complement their life, to grow with eventually. You know, even if they're, you know, getting out of something,
yeah.
whatever. Like I've not heard one version of that. Because you know
No,
when
they definitely want that.
because you know when you talk about getting the bag in the U.S., it comes from a very I'll say single, or I'll just stay you know, just the fast life forever. But that's not the sentiment down here. So I just want to make
Yeah,
that one distinction. Yeah. But anyway,
yeah.
you wanna yeah, say your last thoughts about dating? Yeah, you're continuing.
And even like like I said, there is a sugar baby thing, but I think it's more. It's not more about the bag. It's more of like, you know what, just posting stuff. I met a few of them, and you look at their WhatsApp status. All it is just okay. I'm eating sushi for the first time. I'm just trying to show it. You can tell like whatever that guy's doing for her, it's not like she's expecting 30,000 from him or something like how it is in some of those other countries, like expecting to come up. It's like she just met an upper echelon guy, and then like, you know, they're going on a boat cruise together, you know, like on the river or something like that. Like, oh, they're going on the weekend in San Bernardino, something like that. It's not that deep with the sugar baby stuff. It's there, trust me, but it's not that deep. And then you meet college girls. The college girls, I think, in my opinion, are some of the best ones because it's like
I think so too.
they're educated, and then they're trying to figure it out, and then um they're trying to bring something to the table, right? Like, okay, you know what? She's studying for whatever, for this and this. And then you're like, oh, okay. You know that she can bring something besides just beauty, right? And then they expect you to kind of like appreciate them for having a brain.
Hmm.
Second thing you notice too is you notice the real estate. Uh, I wouldn't call them cougars, but like they're the real estate ladies.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot of them.
they're sexy.
Oh my god, they are sexy as hell. But they all had a failed relationship with some guy and have a kid. It's like that. But they are there. And for those older guys, you know, that in the chat, if you in your 40s and you just divorced in the United States and you know you're a lawyer or something like that, that's your best bet. They are hot. They keep themselves up. They go to every real estate meeting. It's like a religion for them, you know. So they keep up themselves. They go to every conference and all of that, but they are hot, got nice bodies. A lot of them went to Brazil and got some little aesthetic surgeries done. They're there, but you're gonna have to deal with one kid at least because they're usually around like 20, 28, 29, 30,
Yeah.
early 30s, you know, mid 30s. So there's the real estate ladies. You'll find them. Some of them, like you go to some of those expensive restaurants, you know, they're there with their boss having dinner, talking about, you know, whatever they did in a week, la 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 la, and then, you know, and they always travel. That's another thing about them. So they have a good perspective. A lot of them actually speak English. A lot of them been Panama, wherever, you know, and so that's another good thing. And
Yeah.
then the third kind is the far suburbs. And when I say far suburbs, is the now you go in the Capiata Alto, like that area. You know, if you like back to basic girls, go for it. You know what I mean? They're a lot of fun. Those ones, they're a lot of fun. You know, chit chat, and they got time. A lot of them got time on their hand. You know, but it's gonna be social media ridden. A lot of posting, reposting Colombian feminism stuff,
Yeah.
and I think those are the ones that are being affected first, like mentally, when it comes to that feminism stuff. But the rest of them, nah, they're cool.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, thanks for that. I mean, I think we just talked about an hour just about dating alone. Yeah, but you know, we're gonna have to come back on that whole topic and break that down after
Yeah,
more trips of yours here and especially once you get a few
for
months.
sure.
But yeah, just to close this
Oh
out, I
yeah,
think we're reaching a 2 hour mark here. I'm pretty sure I'm not, I don't know exactly, but just last advice, because you know, there's a lot of guys who are struggling in the States. There's somewhere in this process about moving
yeah.
or thinking about moving abroad. There's some people who just kind of watch for entertainment factors, have something on in the background, but there's some guys who really are stuck, and some guys who, just need, just a little bit of inspiration. So if you could give just in 1 or 2 minutes, what's the best advice you can give, to a young guy that, may see us, may relate to us, because we just got a few years on them, and they want to do what we're doing.
So I'm 38. I have no kids. I don't have a girlfriend. So I'm literally what's called this is like being 18 for a woman. You know what I mean? Like you're the most sought after. And especially not having kids and having a good income and things like that. Like it's perfect for most women. So the advice I would give if you plan to come to Paraguay, and let's say you really have to decide what do you want to do there, right? Because if you just come to sit there because it's cheaper and all of that, you might eventually hate it, right? So come up with a plan, and when I say come up with a plan, my best advice is try to put a tentacle. It's not just come and extract what you want out of the country and leave, because I think that's a pattern I'm seeing a lot of where, okay, you know what? I'm a nomad. I'm going to come and just explore this place and just stay here for God knows 8 months or whatever, suck the life out of it and then leave. Or if it don't work out, then I just leave. So it's like they don't branch themselves in there. So if you got the opportunity, you're making that type of nomad money, right? Where you can say, okay, you know what? I got 40, 50,000, whatever I saved up. I don't think it takes much to open a little ice cream shop and have residual income in that in Paraguay, or opening a little lomito shop or something like that. Minimum wage is like what, 200, 250 a month.
Yeah, like
You could
330.
have employees. You could set up. Yeah,
Yeah.
rent is how much for a commercial property? Next to nothing. So you could like just open something and have a little plan like that. Where okay, you know what? Because right now tech is laying off a lot of people, right? And you're gonna leave yourself dry. And I think that's gonna have a little impact on some of those guys there. So come up with a plan. And if you're in the United States, you're planning to go to Paraguay, and you're thinking about it, you have to go there. No expectation. Just go there and see the place for what it is, and learn as much as you can. Stay there as long as you can, because it's a slower paced country, and people warm up to you slower, and you get to explore things at a slow pace. So uh, don't come with any expectation. Just go there with a open mindset, and perhaps see what you can bring, and what you can bring to the country, and how you're able to sustain yourself without impeding in nobody's way, right? And try to make something out of it, and then also leave your problems and your trauma behind. I think that's another thing, because if you plan to go out there and just bang like 1,500 girls in a month or something like that, and because you're not getting none here, I think that, yeah, leave that behind. Just go with a refreshed, renewal mind. Like, you know what, this is new pasture, new ground, and I'm coming to reform myself here, right? And take the place as what it is, as is, right? Good, bad, whatever it is. And don't let one bad be a deal breaker, because for one bad, there's 10 goods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then there will always be something that will attract you back to Paraguay. Yes, it's cheap to live there. Yes, it can get boring. Yes, there is corruption here and there, but even within that, you still can wiggle your way and find yourself something. Just open a little something, create a little business, a little enterprise where you're able to offer something where you can make residual income and stay there. You know what I mean? And I think that's what will help. And then just learn to acquaint yourself with the culture and the people, and you should do well there.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, no, that's all very practical, and good advice, and very tailored advice to the country. So that's great. Yeah, so just to close us out here, do you want, or we'll do this. If you have any socials that you want me to link in the description below, I will. I know you're not too much on social media, but if you want later, or when I post this, we can talk about that, or to get in contact.
I think at some point I'll have to reopen social media, because I think like in today's world, like it's very weird. Like it's not just not you in person, but when I meet girls, even I meet people in general, and they ask me like, "Oh, what's your Instagram?" and I don't have it, it's like, what the hell? But the thing is, I have like if I wanted to be a content creator in terms of like exploring and traveling and showing all this, man, I would have a plethora of God knows
You
what. But
should,
I
man.
have them in photo. I just keep them on my phone. I should. I have them on my phone, and I could post it like as time goes on, like Instagram. But eventually, I'll get there. I'll open the Instagram and the
Yeah,
TikTok, and then have a link or something for you to provide to the people. But yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
for
yeah,
now, it's just
yeah. Even if you
work,
want
work,
this
work.
3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year from now, well, whatever you want going forward, I'll
Yeah,
put a link below. But yeah, man, thanks
yeah.
for
There will be some. Yeah,
hell yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, thanks for joining and breaking a lot of this down in a very
yeah. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
realistic, yeah, yeah, realistic, practical way for people. And like I said, you're very well traveled. You analyze Paraguay for what it is. I think it's a very smart move for you to to make this your home base for all the reasons we talked
Yeah,
about. And we could honestly we can go on for 10, 12 hours about this stuff, but just for
yeah.
sake of YouTube video and podcast sake, we're gonna wrap it up now, but we'll get you back on another one of these, even in person, something like that.
Oh,
Go,
for sure.
yeah.
Oh, before I leave, I
Yeah,
forgot to add
yeah.
American Airlines in early next year is planning to add a direct flight from the U.S. to Asuncion. So having those like 3 stops to get there, it'll be out of the way.
Oh,
There will be no more
nice,
soon. Yeah,
awesome. That's great news.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad you added that. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Good. Yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah, man, but yeah, thanks for joining and shit. I mean, we'll get up
Thank
personal
you
on a personal level. And yeah, whether
for
you watch
sure.
this for months from now, just take about the points out that he's mentioned and and you're very business oriented, you're very, very logical, very practical with your approach to life. That's really good. And so yeah, so a lot of guys will link on to your thought processes about how you came up with Paraguay, all that good stuff. But yeah, man. Otherwise, besides that, we're gonna close this out. Again, this is Lewis, or Louis,
Louis Lewis, same thing.
Loowee. If you see that pop up or whatnot, or in comments or whatever, lives going forward. And yeah, I'm Ryan Aranda, my best life Paraguay. Again, look out for the merch that I'm gonna be probably releasing a few days or a week from now, before the holidays. And yeah, otherwise we're out of here.
Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to Ryan. He's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If
And
you made it, hey, if you made
what
it,
and the services that he has, I'm telling you, you guys will love it. He's
yeah.
a really good guy.
Oh yeah, that's the last thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, I am working with folks to get you guys residency. So I don't directly provide it, but I'm pointing you in the right direction of people that I would work with, if I were doing it over again, right? So hit me up for that, and then I can refer you to get these guys who are doing it well for people. And yeah, otherwise besides that, you already know what it is. I got all my links and stuff below. But thanks for sticking in there for a very long conversation and a good one at that. So we'll get out of
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah. Till next time, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye bye.